Hey, Michael, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jason.
Awesome. Tell us who you are, what you do.
Name's Mike Davern. I help to run Incept. We are, I guess I would call it an AI-enhanced digital-first agency. I've been doing this just a little over 10 years. In fact, we turned 10 years old in June. And really, our goal is to help our clients get to where their goals are, increase revenue, become more efficient, use the right tools without all the fluff, and doing it right without caring about shiny object syndrome at the end of the day.
Now, everybody, since you said no fluff, they're going to immediately think you're an AI bot right now.
That's very true. Yeah, right? You're right.
Right. Like there's certain words now we can't say anymore just because, people are just using AI to do everything. So when you said no fluff, I was like, this is,
it is, you're right. But I kind of don't care. Just like I'm not going to sit here and talk about MQLs and CAC and, my MBA alphabet soup jargon stuff, because at the end of the day, most of the clients we're working with care about results, and we can call things whatever the heck we want.
That's correct. That's awesome. How'd you guys get started in the agency? Accidental agency owner or?
Kind of accidentally. Yeah, I was in corporate America. Life circumstance got me out of being able to be in corporate America. I was helping out actually some short-run publications in a previous life after leaving the music business, as that was starting to get killed. That was a lifetime ago. I was actually an artist development rep for a major record label, and that was fun and nifty. And they went under and didn't pay their bills, and I was one of the many people that didn't get paid. So it got me back into corporate. But there were some people I knew from there, so I'm like, okay, well, let me try this again. And there was one in particular that had bought a franchise of a text message marketing company, which was a bad model, because I'm franchising and like geographic penetration for businesses doing texting made no sense. That was a very short-lived relationship. But then I brought this to who is one of my business partners now, saying, we should do this. And I think because we're early on, this was almost 11 years ago, we could win here. And man, was I wrong. But now it's a part of what everyone does. So
what did you charge starting off?
We were going after small businesses only. So we had the packages like, here's the starter for $49 a month, and go all the way up to pro for $3.99 a month. And
did you have the grid of
of course we did. Yeah,
silver,
price charts,
gold, platinum.
In fact, I think we were calling them. We had some of those names in the tiers, and it was one of those. And then we found out, like, no one wanted this. Like, no, I don't want to be intrusive, and they didn't understand. And so we jumped into the enterprise world, and our first big client in texting was actually a vendor to the health insurance industry, which I was like, I just came from there. I don't want to work it anymore. And my partner was still in the business, but it was a vendor that was a call center to Medicare insurance plans. And we added it in the workflow, and it killed. And then what it did was not only it opened our eyes up to more enterprise relationships, which we developed some more of those, but it also then, when we started being able to tell that big story into smaller and medium-sized businesses, I was like, yeah, we can give that a try, but what else can you guys do? And then we just that's where the accidental came, is we went from being a vendor in one very specific niche to over ballooning to a full service agency, digital first, but still full service, and realizing we needed to just prioritize where everything went. And it kind of goes to where we are now. And, it is certainly doubling down on what we can use smartly with enhancement with the AI. But that was where it was a necessary accidental because of displacement, but we grew and we kept on having new ideas. And I feel like we were almost always too early to the game with some things we were trying to do throughout our life cycle. And now either we are not, or I don't care anymore. I'm not sure which.
Yeah. Now I'm going back to the beginning, kind of when you were telling us you're an AI first or leading with AI. What does that mean?
More enhanced, actually. So AI first would be a misnomer, because we don't, except for a spinoff company we have, that we've actually done about 80% of it AI. And that's what we do a lot, is we incubate in-house before we bring it to the world. AI enhanced is more the right way to utilize it. So we were in automation, and then there was this sort of period of time, maybe 6-7 years ago, where learning and automation started getting really involved. So we, for a minute, and a minute might have been like 9 months or a year, we were involved as an agency in IBM's Watson test program. So we were just feeding the pig and getting some free tools from them at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like if you're using Microsoft Clarity on your website, you're feeding the pig and getting a cool free tool now. If you're managing websites, it was the same piece. So that landed into things like, okay, what can we automate with social media with tools? What can you automate, like, for a brand's reputation with tools? And then as AI started getting more and more baked into the learning, before we called it AI, we were calling it, I think at that point, machine learning, if I recall.
Mm-hmm.
That was the term that all of us were talking about out there. And then we start getting into understanding how bidding works, even in an advertising environment, whether that was Meta or Google. And we were very early into embracing programmatic and DSP platforms. And all of that now is just those AI tools are baked in. So that part of it, I suppose, that slice off is AI first. But the enhancement piece is, what can we do that's actually going to save money, save time, and drive results? And there's too many tools out there that are full of crap in terms of what they're promising. And so when we talk about that, we're almost the curator of the right solution, and we've built processes and workflows so we get deeper and deeper into it. And as we're acquiring clients now, it's actually given us, I think, an edge, because we've crushed our hourly model. We still have some legacy clients on that, but everything we're doing is flat rating based on priorities and outcomes and results.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a lot.
Going back to what you were saying about there's so many things out there, right, that are kind of crap. You just put AI on it. Kind of go back to when I started in this industry, you just put .com on it, and people wanted to invest.
Yep.
Thought it was, going to be the next $1 billion idea. And we were talking in the mastermind yesterday, and one person asked, because I was like, what's scaring everybody? And they're like, I just don't know what to check out. There's so much things. And I like that you said we act as an incubator for our clients, which also acts as an advisor to them. Because there's so many people thinking, going, hey, I've even heard it from the really big agencies. Like, their clients are like, oh, you're using AI so you can charge us less. Like, no, that doesn't work that way. You haven't seen all the hours that have gone into of curating all these different models and tools and things and making it all work, because there's no autonomous. Look at me using big words. I can't believe I'd even stutter on it, right? Like this autonomous thing that just does everything, saying, I want this goal, and then it just does it, right? Like it doesn't exist. I don't think it's going to exist for a very, very long time.
And that's where I want that. So that's where I'm always in that future think space, or I joke and say, no, just put the chip in me. I just want to will it, and it's done. Yeah. So I don't even have to give instructions or whatever. I'm joking, but half kidding, half serious, really, because I've always been, I think, an early adopter on any kind of tech that I can get my hands around. So that helps with the value, but it also does provide some of potentially those stumbling blocks to get to the path to do the right thing. And that comes back to the incubator pieces. Are we trying the thousands of tools that are available that have the AI label slapped on them? No. I'm listening to podcasts. I'm on LinkedIn reading posts. I'm doing exploration. I actually have, even in my own ChatGPT world, I have part of my virtual team. I have an OpenAI account executive virtually, but I've set up a persona and a profile for a freelance AI account executive too, knowing what my lens is. And every Sunday when I'm taking a walk, it gives me a download of what's new and some things I might want to check out. And that's part of my discovery. It's just one piece of the puzzle. So we'll try something. I'm like, hey guys, I want to try to implement this. I want to try to do that. Most of them fail miserably. And so it's no different than, I can do 250 things for you, or 600 things for you, or 182. What are the 3 or 4 things that are going to drive what your goal is? We just have more tools to draw from. So AI has saved me a lot of time in certain processes. It's also afforded me the time to spend hunting and in the lab. And that's what I love. And then we're working and aligning ourselves with clients who are like, I like what you're doing and I want that part, because then it gives us, on the client facing side, we are involved with it's the human first, absolutely touch. We're using tools to make things better, but also what you're paying for and the value you're getting is more brains and less execution. And doesn't everyone want that? Don't you want us rolling up our sleeves and trying to hit it out of the park with you? And we sometimes get bogged down with worrying about tactics and execution to get to that point. And this is where I see this being something that's going to be really beneficial to all of us.
Yeah, I was at a conference and a little while ago, and they were talking about we want to make AI first agencies. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. And I'm glad you said human first, because we want to connect with people. We want to get the results, and we want to take you, like, we want to make superhumans, right? Because we still have that connection and we can chat. Like, one of the things I brought up in the mastermind yesterday, I said, who knows their 5 biggest clients? And everybody's like, I know. Have you ever met them in person? Like a quarter said yes. A quarter said yes.
We gotta grow that number, Jason. How do we do that?
Yeah. Right. Because we're on a Zoom world, right? We're doing this over a podcast. Everyone's used to doing Zoom, but you go out to meet someone, have bread with them, have salad, right? That kind of stuff. Share a beer, drink, whatever. They're going to be less likely to, kick you down the can when that AI, first agency comes.
For sure. I can tell you that number for us with our top client list is 100%.
Yeah.
We have FaceTime, and that FaceTime is we try to make it at least quarterly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah. And your retention is probably amazing.
Our average client life is just under 7 years.
Yeah, that's
and we're stacking that as obviously we acquire new clients, right? But like I talked to like, we gotta keep on. First thing I gotta do is replace the revenue that I'm gonna lose, and like you have to plan for that, right? You pull a whale into the boat. It's hard to say no to that, right?
Yeah.
But you also need to get to the point where you're comfortable flexing that no muscle too, because sometimes it's just too big of a fish and you're going to throw it back. Yeah. Or more often you're going to know the right boat to offload that fish onto, because you know that somebody else out there can handle that the way that you might not be able to. And this is the thing, is we all talk about being competitive and everything. We need just a sliver to do really, really well. And it's aligning yourself with the right partners and the right people so that there is a solution. And inevitably it comes back to not every relationship like that is reciprocal. And that's cool too.
Yeah.
But it is just knowing where that comes. And I think because of how hands-on we are with clients, that we do have that life cycles a little longer, because, and you know this number better than I do. What is it, like 1.7 years or something is the average relationship with an agency and a client?
Less than that.
I don't know. It's and that's probably changed over time. Yeah, we have people come and go, but honestly, most of the clients we don't work with, sounds bad, but they didn't pay their bill. So we got into a financial issue and we had to not work with them anymore. And that I'm happy with that, because it does make our job a little bit easier in terms of new business, because generally we're actually adding to the stack instead of having to replace.
So who's leading the incubator for you guys? Is it you?
I'm overseeing the incubator. I've got actually a few people on the team that are smarter than me in other areas that I let them do their thing. In fact, when we talk about even agency-wide, we have a set per employee budget for AI tools, for instance, that they're all allowed to go and buy. We have a little bit of a rule, like don't buy it for a year because you might shelve it after 2 months, which is going to be
I have 85%. So many of those damn tools.
Yeah, that's right. Right. And so, but everyone not only is encouraged, they're expected to spend that budget and play. So what my lead developer is going to be buying and playing around with is very different than what my creative director might be playing around with, right? So he might be doubling down on video production in VO. Was it 3.1 now? And my developer is working in Claude every day, for instance, and needs the highest tier subscription to do what he's doing there. But we do that, and then we talk about it every Friday.
When you guys started really jumping into AI, was there a lot of pushback from your team, or were they like, fuck yeah, let's go do it?
A little bit of both. So it was, I think, 19 months ago where we sat everyone down and I said, this is the direction we're heading. And that's it. And if anyone's uncomfortable, we're happy to have a separate conversation. And if you're really uncomfortable, we all know a lot of people, so we can help you find another place too. And that's kind of been our really part of our core of how we treat our people and our culture, is that don't ever feel like you just need to go look for another job. Let's have a talk. And if you really are ready for the next move, I want to help you go there. Why spend all that time looking for a job when I can help you do that piece of it? No one left, Jason. They're all here and everyone's embracing it. And I think the expectations are clear in terms of what we want. The processes that are like, this is what we're using from now on until we're not using it from now on. Because that's the other piece with using AI, is that we might jump into something that we're onto for 3 months or 6 months, and a better option comes along. And the nice part is we've been priming our clients for that the entire time. It's like the cool part about working with us is whatever I told you yesterday, I might tell you it's something different next week because it's better. And that's why we're working together. And that's why you're hiring me. It's my job. But we've also become very platform agnostic. So we're not a HubSpot agency. We're not an anything agency. We have a central marketing dashboard that we actually use from a company that only works with agencies. No one's ever heard of them, which is lovely. And everything's connected, so I don't have to use their tools. I can API connect in my own tools, and everything's there. And that really is the value, is because now we can always be really efficient and fast with moving things around. Like, even you asked me a question earlier about the podcast and if I'm running one. Well, this studio, we have several clients who are using the studio for podcasts. We're on like our 3rd or 4th streaming platform. They don't know that. They don't have to, because we've changed it as the years have evolved to go to the best place.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, really on the show, I'm never really telling you about this amazing tool right now, because by the time the show comes out 2 months later, it could be totally obsolete. And that's why a lot of times, I like to go over kind of foundational stuff that I know is not going to change, right? Rather than, this lead hack that, people are like, I get 100 emails a day going, hey, I can bring you 50 clients in the next year. Is that something that interests you? I'm like, no,
not at all. No.
I'm like, I hear this pitch all the day. Like, whoever, and I know who it is who put out that bullshit course that everyone follows, that playbook. And I'm like, God, you really screwed up everybody's email.
Well, and then there's so many of the replications, right? And exactly. It's like 10x this, 20x that. Just comment, kiss my ass on your LinkedIn feed, and just make sure we're connected, and I'll send it to you. And I'm just like, I was asked recently what I am most worried about with AI, and it was twofold. Number one was not keeping up, even though I'm really in the middle of it. But the other was all this bullshit sticking around. That concerns me just as much, because it makes all of our jobs more difficult when you buy this tool that's a piece of garbage that isn't going to do anything to move the needle. Like, I want either all of them to go out of business or make the few million bucks they want to and just go away, because we'd all be in better shape.
Well,
if we could all get down
always
to
exist,
it.
Unfortunately.
It does, but it's scaled in a way that we didn't think possible a couple of years ago, in my opinion.
Yeah. For the agency owner listening that is pretty slammed with all this stuff they're doing right now, right? Like, they haven't raised the prices. They haven't followed my t-shirt or my phrase of like, if you're too busy, you're not charging enough, right?
That's right.
And, they're getting passed by right now because they're not utilizing AI and they don't have any champion on their team to do that. How can they switch? That's why I asked, like, are you leading this incubator? Because that's the biggest thing that I see with agencies not jumping into it is they don't have a leader and they don't have time to do it.
I'm trying to remember where I saw this image because it was just on LinkedIn in the next couple of days. It was an AI generated image. It was a cartoon of someone on a bicycle with square tires. And there was someone next to them holding two
that works well.
round tires, right? Yeah. And it was like, but you need these. And the agency owner or whoever this client was or this person was is, no, but I'm too busy. Get off the damn bike. Mm-hmm. Even if your wheels are perfectly circle, if you don't get off the bike, the tire's going to pop. You're going to bend or rim. You're going to need something's going to happen eventually. Get in front of it before you're facing a wreck. And own it. So back to your question, really about am I leading it? Yeah, I'm leading it, but we're down to a point where everyone's got their own contributions, and there's a few standouts on the team doing their thing. Yeah. But yes, without me saying 19 months ago, this is where we're headed. This is what we're going to do. This is the support we're going to give to you guys. This is our stake in the ground. Put your stake in the ground, because if you're not doing it now, you are not going to make it. There's going to be a whole bunch, in my opinion, of agency owners and agencies who are not embracing the evolution of technology, and they haven't maybe all along, that are going to say, oh, we'll wait till we do nothing technology enhanced and we're so niche because everything is crafted by hand and by person. There's going to be way too many agencies going after that little slice of business.
Yeah, I like it. Well, Michael, this has all been amazing. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would benefit the listeners listening in?
I think just in general, it's about making sure that you can be, if you're going to be that person to lead things, be a sponge as much as you can be to absorb and filter. And if you're further down in terms of where your role is within an organization, speak up, volunteer. I was just speaking with someone the other day who's part of a very traditional modeled insurance broker. I'll leave it at that. And talking about, how do I get this in my, you got to volunteer. It's like, I've tried, but they want me in my role. And then the conversation turns to, great, you need to leave. What can I do to help you find another job where we can get you in a position where you can be there? So that's what it is don't be afraid to just grab it. And if you're in a culture where that grabbing it is not embraced, you will find one that is.
Yep. Yeah, I love it. I appreciate you coming on the show. You know, things are changing so quickly. And I believe really the only advantage with things that changed, 6 months ago, hell, a couple months ago, is really your only advantage is the network and the people you surround yourself with. And that's really why we created our community. And for everyone listening, if you want to have that edge and to ensure that you're around these amazing people that are constantly pushing the envelope, finding out what's working, also what's not working, be like, don't step on that landmine. I want you guys to go to agencymastery.io. And until next time, have a swank day. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you want more content like this, make sure you click on the link on the screen or check out your most popular podcast platform where the full episode is there. And until next time, have a swank day. What are you doing? Go check it out. Click on the link. I'll see you soon.